Welcome, mortals, to the Beautiful Dead podcast. If you've come to this channel, you should stay for several reasons. One, you love vampires. This is a vampire podcast where we break down movies, TV shows, and books about vampires. We talk about the universe that's been created, how are they made, what rules do they have to follow, and more. Every once in a while, like October, I set aside the fiction and talk about all things vampire. 2, you have a podcast or would like to have a podcast and want to see behind the scenes of recording one. I edit out very little, so you will get to see mistakes and interruptions and learn along with me. Or 3, you're a fan of the podcast and you just want to watch me record it live. Or you like my books and you can't get enough of me. So, if you're still here, I promise it's due to your own free will, and I have not used my powers to keep you here. Now, watch the title cards and listen to the music along with the podcast. I'm gonna go get a bite, and I'll meet you back here, nice and full.
Hello? Really?
Vampire! We take your candy!
Count Dracula.
I am Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Hunt, to my house. Come in.
Our first award goes to the vampire for most blood drained in a single evening.
The strength of the vampire is that people will not believe in him.
Good evening, my fellow vampire lovers. The sun is going down, and you know what that means. It's time for me to record another episode of my podcast, The Beautiful Dead. As always, I'm your host, Lena, and I'm very excited to welcome you to 2024. Happy New Year's to everybody. I hope you had a great holiday. I hope you had time with your family, the people you love, and that you're feeling good about 2024. I know I am. As this episode drops, not only are we in the first episode of season 4, this one is going to be a little bit special in the fact that there will be no podcast version of this audio because I'm having all kinds of sound issues and I'm giving myself a little time to figure it out. So this will only be available on YouTube. So my podcast listeners will have to come to YouTube for this one. They're just going to have to, because I do not have the time and patience right now to figure out what is going on. I will take care of that at another time. When this drops, I will be in the last day of my New Orleans appearance at Fan Expo New Orleans. My panel will have already been done. Hopefully you guys are following me on social media. So if you're not in New Orleans, you get to see everything I'm doing in New Orleans. If you're not, you need to go to lenanazeri.com, see links to my social media, follow me, join my Fanged family so that you get to see all the places I'm going to be. As I've said before, I am taking a break this winter to write my 4th book, and then I will be right back at it in May, doing lots of appearances. If something really sweet pops up between now and May and I decide to do something, join my Fanged family because you'll be the first to hear about it. I have not said this in a while, but please subscribe to the channel, like the video, make a comment down below, literally comment anything. Tell me who your favorite vampire is, because it really does help me and it really does help the channel. It helps people to find us. Let's see. Let's talk about 2024. I am hoping that you guys have some big plans for this year. You have some resolutions. I would love for you to tell me what your resolutions are. We can kind of hold each other accountable, but my plans actually have to do with this, with the podcast, with the YouTube channel, with the books. I plan to do more guest interviews. I'm going to have a guest next week, which I'm very excited about, and we'll talk about at the end of this episode. I'm going to do more ghost hunts, more interesting things, not necessarily reviewing movies or TV shows, but more individual or original things. And I will be doing a documentary. So if you want to know what's happening with that, you're going to have to just keep coming back here because I have big plans. And then beyond that, I'm going to rebrand. So when this whole thing started, I had no idea where it was going to go. So I just used a picture of myself or stock images, and now it's time to get serious. So I am working with a very talented artist. I'm going to put a couple pictures up here of some of his work. We crossed paths at Monster Mania, and we will actually both be in New Orleans. So we're probably talking right now about this very project, but we will be working together on creating a logo that is for me and all of my little pieces of the business here. You know, the podcast, the YouTube channel, the books, everything really needs to come under one umbrella. I want to take everything down this winter and bring it back up, rebranded, all come together cohesive, more professional, and really take it to the next level. So watch out for that. And then there will be new cards, new banners, everything when I go out in May for my first appearance, which is going to be in Philadelphia. So I'm very excited. You're gonna have to watch out for all this stuff that's happening. My biggest goal for 2024 is to not have to work at the hospital anymore. For those of you who don't know, I pick up extra shifts at the hospital so that I can do all of this travel, pay for the next book, all of that stuff. So by the end of 2024, I want to be able to not have to work the hospital anymore. I want the books and everything to really start to pay for itself. So you guys can help me with that by getting out there, telling people about everything I'm doing, if you feel so inclined. All right. I'm already distracted. Oh, we're going to do something different this year. So we used to do this. We're going to bring it back. For those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I do a tarot card every month to sort of like help me focus for the month. And at first I had someone else read for me, then I was pulling my own cards. Well, we're going to go back to having someone else read for me because I have a very hard time focusing and like really getting a clear picture of what I should be doing. And I always second guess myself. So we are going to go back to having somebody else read for me. So without further ado, for January, let's talk about the card that was pulled for me in January and what I should be focusing on. It's exciting. All right. I got the Ace of Wands upright. The Ace of Wands signifies taking the first step towards your desired goal. We were just talking about this. It speaks to taking a risk, being bold, asking for what you want. This Ace card predicts that you will be feeling enthusiastic about your career and you will be bringing lots of creative ideas and insights to the table at your place of work. You will likely receive praise this month from a manager or coworkers. This card is all about expanding your potential. So I feel that this month you will be developing your goals, taking small steps towards fulfilling your potential. The castle that's pictured on this card symbolizes an idea materializing into something physical. So one of your ideas may be implemented at your workplace. The castle may also be hinting that you should apply for a promotion, a new job, or reach for a big dream. Do you often hesitate in acting towards your goal because you fear failure? Do you ever fear that your career or financial goals are unrealistic or unattainable? It's time to strip away those insecurities and embark on your goals. If you take a bold risk, take that leap, you're likely to be more successful than you even dreamed possible. So what were we just saying? Time to take it to the next level. Time to be bold, time to go big, time to like really take all of this to where I want it to be so I can reach those dreams. We were just talking about this. So how awesome is that? So I will of course keep you guys updated as things happen in my life and let you know how all of that is going. So without further ado, I know why you guys are here, especially if you've been following me for a while. We all know what the first episode of the year is all about, and that is what can we look forward to this year when it comes to vampires. And this is the perfect time for me to talk about my vampire tea for the evening, because I am doing Nosferatu. Nosferatu is one of the ones that I go back to when I want to feel like invigorated. And I thought it was perfect for this evening because one of the most talked about releases this year in our genre, in our subculture, Nosferatu, right? I mean, how excited are you guys for this one? So let's jump right into it. We're going to start with movies, and we're going to start with a big one. And right now it's due to be released Christmas Day 2024. I will be first in line at the theaters, first showing, front row. I want to see the new Nosferatu. Bill Skarsgård will be joining his brother Alex in the world of playing vampires. Of course, Alex was in True Blood playing Eric Northman, and now Bill will be playing Nosferatu. So welcome to the family, Bill Skarsgård. Nicholas Hoult will be following up his time as Renfield by now starring as the hero of this movie, the Jonathan Harker character. Of course, we're not allowed to say that because it's not supposed to be Dracula, but we all know it is. Also, in 2024, looks like we're finally going to get to see Salem's Lot. We have talked about this on the podcast multiple times now. It was supposed to come out in 2022, then it was bumped to 2023, then it was radio silence. We did not know what was going on with this supposedly completed movie. Where is it? I know all of us are very excited, especially considering what they did with it. I would love to see what they're going to do with Salem's Lot. Well, the last that we heard, which was in November of 2023, was that it was going to be a streaming exclusive. It's going to release on HBO Max. Of course, with all the hype, the expectations are very high. And of course, I will be covering it ASAP. Halloween of 2024. Mark your calendars, because guess what we're supposed to be able to see? Marking its 50-year anniversary, we are going to get to see the reimagining of Blackula. So that will be coming out. Casting is not known at this point, nor is the plot, but I can tell you the original Blackula was about Prince Mamuwalde, who was made a vampire by Dracula himself, and then sort of locked up, and then he was released in modern day LA. He's pursuing a woman that looks exactly like his long dead wife. We all know that trope. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this movie, and I will absolutely be watching it the first day that it is available. So watch out for that one. Less talked about a movie we can expect in 2024 is called Vampires, with a capital S at the end. Vampires, expected in 2024, with Eric Roberts and Richard Greco. Anybody who's my age will know both of those gentlemen. The plot is listed as this. An undertaker suspected of being a vampire avoids his brothers, who happen to be detectives for the local police department. When I hear more about this movie, I will of course let you know, and then as soon as I can see it, I will be talking about it. Another one that is supposed to be released in spooky season of 2024 is a movie called Dracula, Rise of the Vampire. The plot is listed as a British modern-day horror based on characters created by Bram Stoker and Sheridan Lee Fanu. So we can expect not only Dracula, but Carmilla, who we have not heard from in quite some time. I don't know anything more about that, but of course, as always, keep following me, keep returning, and you will get to hear me talk about it as soon as I can. Now, on the horizon, but no, we don't know a release time yet, is a movie called Abraham's Boys. Based on a short story by the writer Joe Hill, it focuses on the two sons of vampire hunter Abraham Van Helsing. They do not believe their dad's wild stories. They see him as a violent, abusive, overbearing, unhinged man. And then, of course, I'm sure something will happen to change their perspective. You guys know that I hate rehashing Dracula, but I'm always here for a retelling of the world in an original way. And that's what this sounds like to me. It sounds creative. I'm excited to read or see what they're going to do with this. I was so excited about Last Voyage of the Demeter because, again, that was like a different way of looking at that same story. So I'm very excited about this one as well. You know, it asks, when people take a step back and say, what would happen to these characters after everything in the book? How's it going to affect their future? How's it going to affect their interactions with their family and their loved ones? So I'll be interested to see what they do with this. And then, of course, something we've been talking about for several years now. And right now, it was pushed, it was pushed, it was pushed. Now they're saying 2025, but that will be Blade. It's gone through some issues. It's undergone director changes and story changes. Then, of course, the strike affected it, but Mia Goth is now attached to be in the new Blade. So I really, really hope this movie is worth the wait. All right, let's talk about series. You know, we can't really say TV shows anymore because it's not necessarily on TV. So we're going to talk about some series. Interview with the Vampire is coming back for season 2 in 2024. It is the thing I am the most excited about. Even above all the movies, I am most excited for season 2 of AMC's Interview with the Vampire. They blew us away with season 1. I don't think any of us expected to love it as much as we did. Now they're going to bring us back to the world of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. Of course, we left off with Louis and Claudia fleeing America after what happened with Lestat. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. While they're keeping a lot under wraps, we do know that we're going to get to see the Theater de Vampires. We're going to get to meet Madeline and Santiago. A lot of things were put on hold because of the strike, but we did get to see a teaser, and we're likely going to get to see these new episodes this year. Now, Bailey Bass is not returning as Claudia. Instead, Delaney Hales, I'm so sorry, Delaney, is going to play the young vampire, but Jacob Anderson, Sam Reed, Assad Zaman, and Eric Bogosian? Eric, I'm sorry. They're all coming back, so I'm very, 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 very excited for this. What We Do in the Shadows Season 6 is happening. The last 5 seasons have released in the summertime, but because of the strike, we're expecting things to get pushed. That is totally fine with me. It is always worth the wait. It's one of those shows that I wait a year for and then I binge it in a day, and I'm so mad at myself because now I have to wait a whole nother year, but I can't help it. We're so excited. The cast has said that they are happy to keep coming back to do more and more seasons for us. So I'm excited with the critics continuing to rave, the fans loving it, Rotten Tomatoes giving it perfect scores. I think we're going to get to see many more years of Nandor and Nadia and Laszlo and Guillermo and Colin Robinson. So I'm very, very excited for that. Reginald the Vampire, which no, I have not covered yet. I promise I'm going to do it. Its first season came out on Sci-Fi in October of 2022. It was a big hit. It's about a new vampire who has to like navigate the world of beautiful, vain vampires when he himself is not necessarily the level that the vampires are used to. It's based on the book's Fat Vampire. It was renewed for the 2nd season. They started filming in April of 2023. That was the last I heard of it. Now, I'm sure the strike has pushed a lot, and I can see why maybe updates haven't come out yet. I expect to see the new season in 2024, and I do plan to watch the first season and cover it before that 2nd season comes out. So please bear with me. It all depends on the whole writing the 4th book and how that goes for me. So please, please be patient. And on the horizon, but not going to happen in 2024, but on the horizon, officially announced, there will be a Twilight TV series. Sinead Daly is writing it, and she wrote Tell Me Lies, Dirty John, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and The Walking Dead, The World Beyond. She will be writing the show. Nobody has released yet exactly what direction they're going to take the show. Nothing is out about network or casting, so we've got some time to wait. But of course, when news comes out, when it's released, come back here. I will absolutely be talking about it. And books to watch out for. Let's talk about books. So in 2023, Stephanie Meyers promised 2 more Twilight books. We don't know when they're going to come out. We don't know what they're going to be about. But we do know that she's got 2 more coming. Just a couple months ago, in November of 2023, for those of you who love the Anita Blake series, a new novel did come out from Laurel K. Hamilton. So probably not going to see one this year, but if you're a fan, go back and check out the one that just came out. I have not read it yet. I know we've all been anxiously awaiting the wedding, so hopefully that did happen. But you know what we will get in 2024? A new Black Dagger Brotherhood book. It's called The Beloved by J.R. Ward. It's number 22 in the series, which good for you. That is amazing. Amazing. If you don't know the series, I do plan on covering it in the future. It's a must read. If you love vampires, if you love steamy novels, it is a must read. And I am going to cover maybe the first few books in an upcoming episode, much like I did with the Anita Blake one. I can't cover all of them, but I can sort of introduce you to the world, and then you can decide if you would like to read more. On pre-order right now. So the Black Dagger Brotherhood one is on pre-order, but this one is called Bride by Allie Hazelwood. I stumbled across it. I'm not familiar with this author, but the book popped up as a "you might like this" for me on Amazon. And you know what? I'm going to read you the description. A dangerous alliance between a vampire bride and an alpha werewolf becomes a love deep enough to sink your teeth into in this new paranormal romance. Misery Lark, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman of the Southwest, is an outcast. Her days of living in anonymity among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold a historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares, and she sees little choice but to surrender herself in the exchange again. Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Moreland, is no exception. He rules his pack with an absolute authority, but not without justice. And unlike the Vampire Council, not without feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust her. If only he knew how right he was. We all know how much Lena loves a vampire werewolf love match, the forbidden love. You know how much I love this. I love vampire versus werewolf, especially when there's like a love that happens in between the two of them. So I will absolutely be checking this one out. I'll check it out. And plan for May of 2024. Shameless self-plug here. The 4th novel of the Eternal Night Shift series will tell the story of Reese, who you got to meet in the first 3 books. It's going to tell his whole story and end when you meet him in Bite Shift. Considering how many people have fallen in love with Reese, I feel an immense pressure to write this story. I hope I do him justice. I hope I make everybody happy. I know that people are waiting for this book. I promise it's coming out. So I'm gunning for May. It might be June, but the updates will happen here. And if you want to know faster than anybody else, you have to join my Fanged family. They get to see the cover before anybody else. They get to know everything. So that is it for this year. I am so excited about this year. And I'm not just saying that. I really, truly feel like 2024 is my year. This is where it's all going to break wide open. So you need to jump on this bandwagon now. Come with me in 2024. Comment down below what your resolutions are, what your goals are. What's like a big thing that you feel like is unattainable, but you really want to go for it, because I will have your back. This is the year of going for big dreams. In the meantime, come back next week. Like I said, I'm going to have another guest on. I will be talking to somebody who creates, draws and writes a vampire comic. I'm very excited. She was lovely to talk to. It was such an interesting interview. So please come back. We're going to be talking all about vampires in comic books, in comics. For those of you who have been asking for this for so long, so many people have talked to me about vampire comics. So come back for that, because that's what we're doing next week. And then you, of course, can check out her stuff or any of the stuff that I talk about next week. If you have a topic you want me to talk about, you have to tell me. Please don't come up to me at cons and be like, why haven't you covered this? Tell me, and I will cover it, okay? All right, I didn't mean to get aggressive there. I love you guys. Happy New Year's. I wish you, of course, wicked hugs and bloody kisses. Good evening.